Hi everyone. My friend Graham Calvert nominated me to play the game of 4's, and so that's what we're going to do right now. And basically it's 4 questions with 4 answers for each one. The first one was, what's my favorite drink? As far as something I just did a vlog on, that would be milkshakes. I love a milkshake. I had a vanilla milkshake just the other day and really loved it. Hadn't had one in quite a while. As far as normal everyday what I drink, I'm a big soft drink person. I drink Mellow Yellow and let's see, Mellow Yellow and Mountain Dew would be the two. They're pretty indistinguishable. They're about the same, green, sweet, carbonated drink. I'd say probably 90% of the time, if you see me with a drink in my hand, it'll be one of those. My favorite hot drink is spiced apple cider. I only get it a couple times a year, usually around the holiday season. My church used to always do that, and I used to love to get that. I haven't had it in a while. I'm gonna have, it hasn't been wintertime, but this winter I plan to revisit that. I like hot chocolate too, but the spiced cider just always tastes so much better to me. My favorite adult drink, I guess, would be a Corona beer. I'll drink margaritas from time to time, and I really like them, but more often than not, if you see me with an adult beverage, it's going to be a beer. It's going to be a Corona. Let's see, what else? Okay, favorite foods. My 4 favorite foods. I love chicken and or veal parmesan. That's really probably one of my favorites right now. I really like ice cream. Chocolate, vanilla, I like sherbet, things like that. Those are really all really good. Let's see here. My favorite food as a kid was, my favorite meal was mashed potatoes and meatloaf and peas, my mother always told me, but that doesn't really, I'll just lump that as one food because that's how I kind of ended up making it into. And let's see, what else? I need one more. It's hard to go wrong with chocolate pudding. I always like chocolate pudding. So I guess that'll take care of the foods. Let's see here. What else have we got? It was 4 places that I have lived. Well, I was born and raised in Charlotte, North Carolina. I lived on a street called Sharon Lane, and it ended up being a main thoroughfare going from another main thoroughfare to the biggest mall complex in Charlotte at one time, which was South Park Mall. It wasn't there when I was a kid, but as I was growing up, it got there, and our road became impassable as a 2-lane, and they had to make it into a 4-lane. But that's where I grew up most of my life. I actually lived there my whole life until I went off to college at 18. I had a really nice apartment in Raleigh, North Carolina, where I was going to school. Super nice apartment. Had a great pool. A bunch of young people lived there. That was probably some of the best living of my life. I had no responsibilities, like I said, just going to school. And I'd come home, go jump in the pool, go play some tennis, whatever I wanted to do. And it was about 4 miles from the college, so it was real easy to get to back and forth. And that's when I first started riding motorcycles. It was such a short distance, and parking a bike was so much easier. You could park right in front of your classroom. The car, you had to walk miles to get there. But let's see, those 2. Where else did I live? I moved from there to a little town called Mint Hill, North Carolina. It's just outside of Charlotte to the east. Lived there for about 10 years. I was in an old farmhouse that my employer at the time owned, and so I was renting it from him. And the people that had lived in that farmhouse for decades had built a new home right beside it, and that was their dream home, and they moved there. And so I had real good neighbors. They knew all about the house. It was okay. It was an old farmhouse, drafty, wooden floors, drafty in the wintertime, hot in the summertime. No central heating and air conditioning, but it was still a pretty nice place to live. And I'll combine 2. Where I live right now, split my time between Stanfield, North Carolina, which is even farther east of Charlotte, and then down here in Smyrna, Georgia, which is quite a bit farther south and 4 hours away. All right, let me cut off just for a second. Okay, I had to drop off a quick payment at the cable company. But like I was finishing up, I said I split my time now between Stanfield, North Carolina and Smyrna, Georgia. It's about a 4.5 hour to 5 hour drive back and forth depending on how often we stop and whether we get a snack or stop and eat a meal. But it takes a little while back and forth. But those are some of the places that I've lived. Don't know if I would say that they're necessarily favorites. They're just places that come to mind where I spent a lot of time, or have spent a lot of time. Let's see, what else? Oh, okay, I think the last thing that was on his list was names I have been known by. As you've noticed from my YouTube channel, I have no imagination. When I was setting it all up, I put down my real name. I didn't come up with something really cool, you know? So I know, Graham, you did the same thing, and but you know, I don't know why I couldn't think of something really cool to come up with. But so I'm known on YouTube as Sam Smith. Unfortunately for me, there's also another Sam Smith who happens to be a Grammy Award-winning singer in England, who gets a lot of press and has a lot of YouTube presence. So if you go looking for me on YouTube, you probably won't find me under Sam Smith. But that's okay. You found me so far, and that's cool. Anyway, when I was growing up, we had another Sam on the block. He was a couple of years older than me, and his mother or father had nicknamed him Sammy. So that name was off the table when I was growing up. Couldn't have two Sammys in the same neighborhood. So my folks call me Sambo. And some of my old friends that I've known ever since then still call me Sambo. And but generally I just go by Sam during the day. I don't know why I was named Sambo. At one time there was a book about a guy named Sambo who was chased by a tiger around a tree until the tiger turned into butter and he put it all over his pancakes. But I really don't know if that's why they call me Sambo or not. But that's okay. Alrighty, so that was two of them, huh? Alrighty. Well, when I was in junior high school, I was painfully thin. I was thin enough to be on one of the posters for, you know, can you send some money to feed this child? I grew very quickly to my lofty height of just over 6 feet 2 inches, and still did not weigh 100 pounds. In fact, I think I remember weighing in about 75 pounds, and that's thin. That's really thin. So all kinds of names, you know, I was called all kinds of nicknames in school. Beanpole was one of the ones that I remember, you know, things like that. Anything that referred to me as being just way too thin, way too tall and too thin. But I felt that quite a bit since then. Actually quite a bit, I'm not gonna tell you how much. Anyway, you can see from my videos when you've seen pictures of me that I'm not starving anymore. My wife feeds me very well. And I guess the last name I've been known as is my nickname I was known as at work. We had one of our techs at work, where I worked for 35 years, used to, he would name everybody, give everybody a nickname. He had one fella who had gone and come back, left the company and gone with somebody else and then came back because the job didn't work out. Called him Mr. Greengrass because, you know, he had thought the grass was greener, so he had jumped over into the next yard. Try that out. We had lots of different guys that I was named lovingly, I guess, or maybe not, the bald-headed geek. And bald-headed was obvious because I am follically challenged. I always have been. But the geek part came from all my hobbies that I have. I always had all kinds of hobbies like remote control airplanes and, you know, stuff like that that he always thought was kind of geeky to do since it wasn't sports related. And so I had played sports in school, but you know, once I got a little older, except for a little softball from every now and then, I didn't play any more sports. So he just called me the bald-headed geek, and you know, that was okay. I called him the Weasel. And when he was really upset about something, we'd call him the Badger, you know, because badgers are a whole lot meaner than weasels are. But it was all in good fun. We all had a good time at it. And so I guess that's my 4's. I hope I answered 4 for each one. I'll go back and look at this, and if I didn't, maybe I'll re-record a segment or just add one in text. I'm not gonna, I was kindly nominated for this by Graham. I'm not going to nominate anybody. I just don't want to pick on anyone. And not that he picked on me, but I'm not going to pick on anybody. But yeah, I would invite anybody who wants to participate. Just shoot a little vlog on it. I have actually answered these questions once before on a different vlog, but that was just in the comment section, so I thought I would actually do a video on it. So get out and have some fun with it. You can do it, no problem at all. All right, everybody. Well, Sam and Susan on the Spider in Smyrna, Georgia. Have a great day.